admit it, you clicked because of the title. Because at this point in life, if you don't know who Isamaya French and the Isamaya beauty brand is, where have you been, Loca? If you don't follow me on Instagram, which you clearly should, because my Instagram handle is elagram_makeup, and on TikTok you can find me on elagram.makeup. But if you don't follow me over there, you don't know one little secret about me that is not a secret at all. I am a die-hard obsessive fan of Isamaya French. Everything this woman does makes me questioning my life choices, because I ask myself, what did I do wrong to not work with her? So I thought I'd take the opportunity of the launch of the Industrial 2.0 palette to do a more in-depth video on who Isamaya French is, what the Isamaya beauty brand stands for, and then of course we are going into this new Industrial 2.0 palette, and I also want to look a little more on the comparison side, like are they anywhere close? And upon first look, let me tell you, they're not. I would have loved to incorporate some more Isamaya beauty items, but unfortunately the two other things that I ordered are not here yet, because I did not only pick up this palette, I also picked up one of the new lip lacquers in the metallic shade, and I also picked up the Skin Lac Primer from the Industrial 1 palette. So that's why I do have all makeup already on besides eye. And if you want to see what I used, you have to wait a little more, because that video will definitely go up after this one. But now let's get into that. I'm prepared this time because I cannot memorize all these infos. Oh, and please, if you're bothered by the birds screaming to fuck themselves, I'm sorry, but I just have to open the window. It's so warm inside and outside, and outside it's better than inside, so the window stays open. You know, people pay for those nature sound things, CDs or tracks, whatever, and I have that just right in my yard. So the person, Isamaya French, is a makeup artist. She was born on the 9th of April in 1989, is only 2 years older than I am. I'm in 1991, like, we could have been friends. We could have went to the same school, and I know that sounds really creepy, but it's just so fascinating to me when I see those super successful people. It doesn't matter what industry it is, and they always seem to be so far away from reality, or at least from my reality. And just thinking about the fact that they are born in the same time as I was makes them just a little more like close, a little more understandable. Like they're just, there is the saying in Germany that is, die kochen auch nur mit Wasser. And you would translate that completely one-to-one, they only cook with water. And that is what it is. Yes, they're like known to the world, but when they cook noodles, they use water and not liquid gold, which would be probably not good for them. But she, as I said, she's 2 years older than I am, and when she was younger, she was like very into physical arts, like ballet or ballad? What's the correct pronunciation? Like the dance. And I think that's really fascinating, because that's definitely nothing I'm into, but she apparently was, and she never, as far as from my research goes, was kind of interested into the beauty world, but she started face painting children while she was studying, because you have to get some money when you study, that is what it is. And because of her good skills, she kind of climbed up the ladder in society, and all of a sudden she found herself in painting the child's faces of high society in London. Because she was that successful with painting children, she like basically switched into also painting the faces of adults. And in 2011, apparently, she was, or she worked on the spring and summer show of the English fashion designer Christoph Shannon, which probably opened all of the doors for her. Because in that same year, she also did her very first fashion shoot with the ID magazine, and did in that same year body painting and clay sculpturing for the artist Matthew Stone and the model Alec Wake, I don't know. And it was then when she started to work with real professional MUAs and then like makeup artists, and she got her real kid and kind of dive into the beauty community, which is, to me, I'm honest with you, this is super fascinating because her goal was clearly not beauty, never was. And when we dive further into the like, how is it now, it is still not. And that makes her, for me, as a true fangirl, so impressive. Her interests surrounded at that time more around like the how can you say that, not the standard beauty convention, the standard beauty norm. It was more like the like identity structure and basically what makes every person's face and body special, and how can you incorporate it, how can you pronounce that beauty, instead of what we see today on TikTok, like, oh, you don't should do the triangle concealer, do dot dot and that's it, don't contour this, contour that, like the beauty norm that everybody follows. Isamaya, a French, was always far from that. And that is, I think, what makes her super, super special and very, very successful. Because just think about that. In 2014, she was announced the beauty editor of the ID magazine. In 2015, she was the beauty ambassador for Yves Saint Laurent Beauty. In 2016, she got announced as the creative artist consultant for Tom Ford Beauty, and actually she is the one that created the Extreme line, extreme, like it's an E with this little pop on top. That had the first metallic lip lacquers and metallic eyeshadows for the Tom Ford brand, as far as my research goes down. Unfortunately, I could not find any like cool photos of that collection, since this is like 7 years old at this point. After that, she got the creative director for the brand Days Beauty section for the Days magazine. I actually don't know that, I couldn't find a lot of it. And 2020, that's when things got really serious, I feel. She was the creative director of Byredo and started to create these popular Byredo products that people love. I personally have never tried anything of Byredo, but you can clearly see her touch on it and how the brand changed in 2020. 2021, she became the global beauty director of Burberry, and then things were different, because already in 2019 she kind of said that how she is more interested in the like how beauty and genetics have an impact of each other, like the racial impact, the gender impact, and how that is a positive thing for beauty standards, and for the whole physical appearance. That just is so fucking clever, because that is what people like, for example, Robert Welch, makeup artist here on YouTube, he tries to teach that. Like, just because TikTok tells you to place your contour like that, that does not mean that this is a good place for you, because you have to incorporate your physical bone structure, and that is what her main focus is on. What I actually did not really know, like I've read about that on Instagram, but I never really got into it. She also does music. She had like short spots in different music videos, and she sings by herself, but I have actually not listened to it. I have to do so. But in June 2022, things got serious when Isamaya Beauty launched, and people, they freaked out. Because the first collection was the industrial collection, and that was bondage inspired. I was head over heels for this, for the promos, for the videos, for everything that it did. After that came the White Star collection, which was really girly. Then we had the Lips collection, and that is probably the one that got her the most attention. And now, just last week, she came out with the Industrial 2.0 collection. I also want to touch on something else that the brand does that I think people are not really aware of. While with other brands, they say, oh, that is so cool, that you should support. But when it comes to Isamaya Beauty, nobody ever mentions that. So for example, Rare Beauty does communicate very, very like authentic that they support like charities for mental health. The Isamaya beauty brand does that too, and with every of their like capsule collections, they also choose a charity that they support. There are always videos on it, and she's communicating that, but I think it kind of gets lost in the product, which is not a bad thing at all, because you can do good things, but you don't have to like pin it on the top of every of your content, because the product is important, and the better the marketing of your product is, the better sales you get, the more you can give those charities. So I just researched what kind of charities she does support, and I love that. I really, really do. So with the Industrial One collection that came out last year, she partnered with the Worldwide Tribe charity, which brings just personal and human perspectives to the whole worldwide human refugee crisis, and they support that. I love that. With the White Star collection, if you remember that, that was the whole cowboy vibe, and it was golden and girly and pink and nice and light. She partnered with the American White Horse campaign, and I was to this point not even aware of the fact that this is a nature problem. Because they do, and I have to like read that from my note because I can't memorize the exact things at all. They basically are there to work and to help and ensure the future of American wild horses and the Western land that they live in, and try to reform the cruel and costly federal roundup program and replace it with a human management to keep wild horses protected and free. I love that. I really do. I never thought about that, but that is important. That is a part of history and nature, like the white horses and the burros. But if they are like inhumanly treated, something has to happen. And that she just she did a makeup collection that had horses on it, and those sales go towards this charity. I love that. And then the collection came that broke the fucking internet, and that was the Lips collection. Penis-shaped lip balms, and the people went nuts about them. Like, where are we? It's just a penis, like, suck it. Oh, sorry. But I think that's American thing. The Americans are raised so prude, like it's fine to buy a weapon in Walmart, but saying penis and showing boobs and vagina, that's beeped out and like pixelated in TV. Like, what the fuck? Grow up. Grow up and get a life. That's just the sexual gender. Like, that's totally normal. But the internet broke, and they're like, oh my god, that is so disgusting and sexualized. You are sexualizing that. That's all. That's just all. I do not mind. Like, if these lip balms would not cost €90, I would have gotten one, and I would walk around with it like I'm very proud to have one. But let me just tell you that for this collection, she partnered with Planned Parenthood, who provides safe sexual and reproduction healthcare and education, which is a big problem in the States because, I'm sorry, but the American politics are just fucked up, and I love that she basically just supports that for the US and kicks those fuckers in their asses. I love that. And now we have the Industria 2.0 collection, which is a bit lighter, as I said, as the Industrial One. It's not as grungy and dark and vibey and whatever. It's more summery and light, but still has a very nice impact. And this time, I have to read that again, they partnered with the Outside Project. And the Outside Project is a LGBTIQ plus community shelter center and domestic abuse refugee in response to those within the LGBTIQ plus community who feel endangered, who are homeless, hidden homeless, and are on the outside of services due historical and represent prejudice in society and their homes. That is... Oh, I get shivers. Oh, I'm sorry. I think that is such an important thing to do. And I love the fact that she does that without painting it on the walls, because that just shows me that this is just the goal. They just want to do something good. And it's all on the website. It's not hidden. but they don't make it their main focus. Isamaya already did a video on the product itself, swatching and explaining the shades, which he always does. And I'm pretty sure there will be another video. That was the case with all the things that she launched already, where she explains a bit more about the project and why they partnered with that. And they have, or any brand who does that, any brand who uses the money and influence that they gain through sales, is just having the highest of respect from myself for doing that, for not being just 100% like money focused. They want to give something back and they want to help people, and that is what Isamaya herself just stands for, and that's super authentic to me, because you see it in her campaigns. She has like any kind of different people, hair color, skin color, whatever, men, women, and she just, to me, she is a role model. And I know she had a controversy last year, or this year, no, it was last year I think, where she was in Africa and she did some videos, and they had a bit of a bitter taste, but I also have to admit that I did not look any further into it, because I just couldn't watch the videos on that, the tea videos, the gossip videos on that, because to me they gave me the feeling that now somebody is just trying to drag that down, because they just don't have all the informations. And by the videos she just posted on Instagram, it felt a bit weird, okay, but I don't want to make a big deal out of it, because everything that is here on that list is just so much more important to me. And now let's head into the fun part of the video. I take off the glasses, I come closer to the camera, and we can start doing this. I have already swatched all the shades. If you want to see the swatches, just go over to the YouTube channel, because I've posted this in the shorts. And here just have a close-up again of the palette. Oh, this looks so awesome. Just admire that beauty. You get 14 shades. Mattes are not her thing. She's mainly doing shimmers and all that stuff. And it retails here in Germany for 110 euro, but I think in the States it's $105. The Industrial 1.0, same, 14 shades, 110 euro or $105. And that is much, much darker. Let me just open both and show you. They're not easy to hold because they're quite heavy. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? Yeah, you can probably. Like you see, it's just I have to kind of look if the camera's on focus, but it's like this one is the lighter sister of the Industrial one. And as far as dupes go, I don't think there are, because like this shade, that one, that is Refraction? No, that is Sulfur. And then there is in the Industrial one, oh, I dabbed my finger in it, is this shade, that one. And that is, the sticker is like weird on the back, that is Brass. They look very similar in the pan, but they are not, because Sulfur is a multi-chrome while Brass is a true copper. So this on my finger is Sulfur, and this is Brass, this is Sulfur. So Brass from the Industrial 1 and Sulfur from Industrial 2. They have a similar base, I admit that, but they're different enough. Other than that, there are no color dupes in that. They are texture dupes. Isamaya already uploaded a very in-depth video on that, and she explained that some of the textures she loved so much that she had to incorporate them too, which I love, because I am a big fan of those textures that she has in the palette. And now, without further ado, let's get into a fun look. And I will do only one, because my parents will come over and they will look very weirded out when I have two eye looks on. Usually I don't care, but I'm feeling only one look today because I'm also running out of time. But I will do more looks with that, I promise. Oh, one thing to mention, both palettes have a 3D printed model on it, and the model is on both the same. This is black, this is just the chrome. And this is Isamaya herself. I also don't wear face highlight because I want to use one of the white shades in the palette for my face highlight. And now let's start. I'm starting the look with Carbon on a angled, more fluffy brush. And this texture is very interesting. This is kind of powdery but somewhat creamy. Like, I actually don't understand that texture because it feels very, very weird. So from the feeling on my hand or on the swatches that I did, it is definitely a powder, but it goes on like a cream and blends very easy. It reminds me a lot of the Natasha Denona cream to powder formula, with the distinct difference that these go on the same way as they are on in the pan. While with Natasha Denona, I'm always running into that issue that they look gorgeous in the pan and much darker in the pan, but as soon as you apply them on the eyes, they turn much lighter. Trust the process, folks, because I'm now going in with a clean, rounded brush and just blend out the edges a bit more. My first idea was to recreate the look that Isamaya wears in her introduction video of the whole collection, but I don't have the time to watch the video again and see what exactly she's wearing. So you can see that shade sheared out completely, but you could also build it up, because if you watch the swatch video, I really highly recommend doing that to you. It's really impactful when you just like really pucker up it. Puck it up, puck it in, puck it on, pack it on. Oh my god. And I just realized that I have marks from my glasses on the face. Usually I would use always glitter glue, but I saw in the Isamaya video that she has something in those shades that binds the pigments together, so I will try how they work without glitter glue. And we are going in this shade, which is called Ore. As I learned, if you watch the swatch video, I had really problems to pronounce this, and I ended up spelling it O-R-E, which is what is on the back of the palette. And in the Isamaya video, she said it's Ore, and I have no idea what that is. And what I do is I apply this on the outer part and tapping that over Carbon. That looks stunning. Look at that. I definitely see what she meant with the binding thing, but I think that only works when you apply it with the fingers. So I would recommend going in with a glitter glue. That is better, I think. Without the glitter glue, you see a lot of the impact is just lost. But that's okay, because the eyelid is big. I want to use most shades, like the highest amount of shades possible. So I'm doing that now, and I apply some glitter glue, and my hand is glittering now, which is fine to me. Just apply glitter glue on the inner part. I want to try something really weird and do a gradient from this red over to gold and the inner part blue. That could work. So I'm now going into Soulful, which is this beautiful gold shade, and I just realized that I made a mistake earlier when comparing shades, because this one that is similar to Brass in the industrial one, this is Polish and not Soulful. So what I'm doing now is I tap that shade in the center and blend that into Ore. Oh yeah. With the Isamaya Beauty formula, especially with those very impactful shimmers, I recommend building up. Don't like crash your brush into the pans. They tend to break easy, but if you treat them with respect, you can get amazing looks. I hope the camera picks that up, because in the mirror it looks awesome. And now the fun part, the blue. Because I want to like blend the blue into the gold, I basically used the same brush, and this is a Be Perfect X Stacy Marie brush. Do you see this triangular shade? This is perfect for detail work. So I'm now going into this shade, which is called Corrosion. She pronounced that in the video, but I totally forgot what it was. And again, careful. I already felt that while swatching, that I pressed too hard in some of those, so a few of them broke. or like the pigment on the surface broke away, but I pressed them in. No, we don't want to do an influencer guest, but I think I have to. I just picked up some more to build that up, and I basically swiped that into gold, into the sulfur shade, just like that. That looks so stunning. I'm fully aware of the fact that a palette like this is not for everybody. And you just have to think about the fact that every brand has a motto. Like, you know, it's not always, it's not only the brand name, there's most of the time like a sentence coming with it. And the sentence for Isamaya Beauty is beauty without restraint. And she said that she did a Q&A a while back. Oh, and I'm going back into sulfur to build that intensity back up. She did a Q&A on her YouTube channel of questions that people asked on Instagram. And she was talking about the future of her brand and just said, like, you know, the brand's name is Beauty Without Restraint. And that is exactly what she wants to achieve. And now going back into Aura to build up the outer part a bit more. Her goal is to create beauty that can be used by everybody, that gives you just that little bit more, that little bit outside of the standard. She's known for editorial looks, but she's also fully aware of the fact that editorial makeup is not for everybody. But she tries to bring editorial to you with those beautiful palettes. And you're not, like, you don't have to use every single shade as I do. I want to do just a look using as many shades as possible. But you can also like use this as a perfect companion palette. Like, you can amp up any look with that and that would look awesome. So because I feel that this inner corner or inner part blue is a little bit misplaced, I want to do something crazy. So I'm now going into Cobalt, which is this one, with an angled brush. This is again one of those more like cream to powder shades. And what I'm doing now is I start on the inner part and I draw a line. You know, like a little bit of a graphic moment. Just, I'm not good at graphic liner, I have to admit. But you can only be better when you just try it. I love that. Oh, that, you know, that tied just everything together. Just compare this eye with that eye. But now I have to recreate it on the other one. So I don't know if you can tell, but I decided to build that up a bit and flick it a little bit outwards. Oh, I love that. That is what I mean. That is the spark. That is the joy. And that is the moment where I'm like, I've made the complete right decisions to immediately buy that. And because this look isn't crazy enough, we are going into, let me just now introduce the fifth one. Okay, so this greenish shade here, this is Patina. And I'm using this on a flat smudger brush, like that shape. And she also explained for those like more cream to powdery shades that they are meant to basically transform on the face. Like, they will show the full potential once you apply them on your eyes. I love that. Or on the face, you could basically apply them everywhere. What I do is I bring that outwards to connect with the flick of Cobalt, but only like to the center of the eye. I'm very proud that I was able to manage that. So now let's use this lilac shade. This is called Galvanized. And I use that on a very, very small pencil brush. And I loaded that up. And now I'm applying this on the inner part, blending that a bit into Patina. Patina was the shade. To me, this is an absolute surprise how easy these lighter cream to powder metallic shades apply, because when I swatched them, It's not like they were sheer, but I felt like I had to, you know, like go over that a couple times. But with the brush, I can build them up, yes, but I think with one coat that's nice enough. In this beautiful palette, she has two shades that look quite similar upon first glance. This is first one, that is called Alloy or Alloy. And then this one, in that row, that is called Mercury. They look nearly the same, but they are not, because Mercury has a duochromy shift to it that goes into green a lot, while this, and this is nice, this is one of those wet shades, because this has no base to it. This will leave you with a wet look. And in the industrial one, Isamaya had a very similar shade, which was this here, and that is called Flesh. That was a very similar shade that had nearly to no base to it, but she even took it further with that one. And what I want to do is I want to use the shade Alloy. This I want to use as highlighter on the cheekbones, and Mercury down here I want to use as inner corner highlight. So we're starting with the inner corner highlight, and I'm picking some of that Mercury shade up and let the magic happen. Oh yeah. This is beautiful. Am I crazy or got the cobalt line just darker? It's like it developed on the skin, which is completely nuts, but I would not be surprised if that happens. You know, we have pH changing lip products and cheek products. Why not have pH changing eyeshadow? And that was not a suggestion, like, but if you do that, please credit me. So now the fun part, and I will be staying this close to the camera so you can see it better. The only thing is, since this is a very small pan, the brush fits not as well in there, but I try my best not to ruin the whole palette. And can you see this on the brush? Is it possible? I hope so. So let's let the magic happen. I have only seen that in the swatch, so it could ruin the whole makeup or it couldn't. Are you ready? I have no idea if this is possible to see on camera. This is stunning. My whole brush is now glittering, and I probably have to throw it into my wash bag, because I tried to remove it with spot cleaning, but that probably will not happen. One moment, do you know what that reminds me of? Well, 1 second. The Fenty Beauty How Many Carats. That looks absolutely similar. And I think that has the same vibe behind it, because How Many Carats also has no base, but this wet glitter look, and the Alloy shade has the same. So you can probably tell that I have a lot of fallout, especially from the blue. So I take a spoolie and just wipe off any glitter that is not wanted on my face. So now I will go and apply some mascara and come back for my final thoughts. And that is the finished look with the Isamaya Industrial 2.0 with mascara on, and the most stunning highlighter known to history. I feel super fancy. The only thing I regret a bit, I probably should have placed the blue not on the inside. I would rather have it on the outside, but you know what? Isamaya Beauty is all about beauty without restraint, so just do something different. Change the application and you're good to go. You probably can guess it already. I am maybe a bit biased because I'm such a big fan of Isamaya herself and I adore her brand. I cannot wait until the lip lacquer arrives, because I missed the first one that was a black, and that went on like Clinique Black Honey but in a gloss form. So I love to try the new one that is a silver. But on the application video that I saw, it does not go on like a silver. It's more of a sparkling metallic, that leaves nearly no tint on your face, or on the lips better said. Well, you can try it also on your face. It's highlight, it's gloss highlight, do whatever you want. And I'm also very curious about the skin lac, because I don't know why, but it just appeals to me. So I would do definitely shorts on that once I have them. And we now have to discuss a few things about that. First of all, if you have Industry 1, will you regret having Industry 2? Absolutely not. I think not only are they different enough to have both a purpose in a collection, they also can complement each other very, very well. And that is something I highly appreciate about that. The only thing that still bothers me is the packaging. Because of this 3D printed version of Isamaya, it's really hard to store. If you are new to the Isamaya world and you are here, or you kind of think about buying, and should you get the 1 or the 2, I would say get the 2, because even though I love the 1, there is something in there that bothers me, and that is this black and this black. So these are not both black. This one over here has a more bluish tint to it, so it's blue based, while the other one is a true black. But both are putty cream shades, and they do not last. They go on patchy, they are really weird to work with, and I don't like them in the palette. So if you want to have a full palette where you can use all 14 shades, I would say go definitely with this one, because she did herself a favor leaving those putty shades out and replacing them by like what is in the cobalt. The purple is like that, this one is like that, patina is like that, and carbon is like that, in this metallic but more satin cream to powder finish that is much easier to work with and to build up. While the putty shades, I think it's leather, yeah, leather and diesel are the 2 shades in the one. They are not easy to build up, because they're like dry and slippery at the same time. It's really weird to describe. And if you are completely new to eyeshadow and you look for a nice beginner palette to amp up looks, should you get this one, then I would recommend maybe, because even though the whole brand motto is beauty without restraint, and the whole vibe of bringing more editorial vibes to everybody out there without looking scary, it takes some practice to work with her formula. That's just a fact, and that is something to just keep in mind. She actually says that it says eyeshadow palettes, but these are pressed color pigments. I had last year, when the 1 came out, I had an argument on Instagram with a very rude girl trying to teach me eyeshadow and pressed pigments are the same. Fuck yes, I know that. They are technically the same, because in the end it's all eyeshadow, but pigments and pressed pigments are definitely more impactful kind of. Eyeshadows do contain of pigments, and in the end are those pigments pressed. Well, you cannot use eyeshadows, but you know what I mean. Like, pressed color pigments are a bit different from an eyeshadow pigment. They are, I don't want to say more intense, but they are also a bit more hard to work with. And I see the critical view on her formula 100%. But if you are here and to learn, and you are also fully aware of the fact that probably the first few looks that you do can fuck up a bit, because you just have to learn how to deal with the textures in her palette, then you will not regret that. But if you are somebody who is fully satisfied with, for example, a Pat McGrath quad, because the quality is good, they're easy to use, you don't have to think about it while using it, because you can slather it on in any way possible, and that's not a critique, please don't get me wrong, that's a wonderful thing. Then this palette is probably not for you. So thank you guys so much for staying with me in this video. If you have these, let me know, and if you want to see more of them, let me also know. But to be honest, if you want or if you don't want, I will do more content with these, because they are just too too pretty. Sorry, I'm just so happy. Like, do you see that? Do you see the happy face? I have now 3D printed naked Isamaya in my shelf over there. I do not regret buying them, and I have to say 110 euro for 40 shades is a good deal. Let's be honest, it's a really good price. And the pan size is quite normal. You get 1.25 grams. I think the new Viseart palettes that are also very expensive, they have 1 gram now. And Natasha Denona has 1.2 grams, I think, depending on the formula. So Pat McGrath has also 1.25 grams. So it's a pretty normal size, and the value is good. So if you thought about that from the price point, just as a last thought. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like that, my ramble, my spark, my joy. I hope I could bring that a bit up to you. So thank you, and I see you in the next one.